I'd like to take the time to introduce today's speakers. We have Sean Leonard, CEO here at ActiveDEMAND. Sean is dedicated in helping businesses with advanced marketing strategies, marketing automation technology, sales and marketing expertise that is simple, effective, and affordable. As an entrepreneur, Sean has had more than 25 years of successful experience launching, owning, operating, and growing businesses. And also, we have Ben van Sprundel. He's currently the marketing director of noCRM.io. He is an ex-co-founder of a startup and has extensive background in leading digital marketing and sales teams. And with that, I will hand things over to our speakers.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Ben van Sprundel. Like Eric just mentioned, I'm currently working as a marketing director for noCRM. In noCRM, we help mostly small businesses and sales teams to improve their sales efforts by providing an easy-to-use, non-technical, affordable, and sales-focused CRM. In contrary to some of the well-known CRM providers like Salesforce, we focus on keeping it simple and efficient for SMB. Before working in noCRM, I co-founded a startup. I was in charge of both our marketing and sales teams. So I've learned firsthand about the challenges and the importance of aligning marketing and sales. Next slide, please. So yes, we'll start off today by going a little bit into the problems that come with disalignment of marketing and sales, the importance of it, and why it is becoming more important than ever in this day and age. Then we'll go over some strategies that can improve alignment. We'll present shortly how noCRM and ActiveDEMAND and our integration can help your team align marketing and sales, and we'll finish off answering any questions you might have. So yeah, so the problem, I'll start off by saying that there was a very interesting research done which found that nearly half of all sales and marketing professionals don't feel they're well aligned. And honestly, it's not surprising. The way most companies are set up and logically is with a different marketing and sales department and team. And this usually implicates that companies have a different buyer journey, different KPIs to measure success. Marketing focuses on getting leads, sales focuses on converting leads, and as a result, companies face a dual challenge: reaching as many leads or potential customers as possible for the marketing team, and getting the highest conversion or purchase rates from the sales teams. But without effective alignment between sales and marketing, this is a little bit like shooting in the dark. Even as marketing generates potential leads, sales can't capitalize because both teams have different priorities. And this lack of alignment has a significant impact on company performance, with the main factors being lost revenue, of course, but also a poor customer impression and a poor customer experience, wasted efforts on both the marketing and sales teams, and a loss of qualified leads. Next slide, please. So as you see in the graph here, it is one of the main focuses of companies with over 200 employees. It's actually the third biggest marketing priority for these companies. You see, number one is generating more leads. The second is converting more leads, and the third is sales and marketing alignment. And it's easy to see why. In another study done, it showed that companies that have a strong marketing and sales alignment, with some of these companies even running the two teams in the same department, can make a significant improvement. On average, they found that companies with high sales and marketing alignment generate 32% higher revenue, retain 36% more customers, achieve 38% higher win rates, have 24% faster growth rates and 27% faster profit growth rates. It also found that high alignment generates higher brand awareness and a higher average deal size. So you can see that these are significant numbers, and you can see why it is and should be such a high priority for many companies. So good. The importance is clear, I think, but what is also very important to mention is that it's becoming more and more important than ever to focus on it now. Why? The number one reason is because consumer habits have evolved and are evolving, and the old sales techniques work less efficiently. More and more of the purchase process is happening online and without salespeople because of some changing consumer habits. In today's day and age, 92% of buyers start with an information search. 53% of buyers find that going online and researching on their own is superior to interacting with a salesperson. 75% of buyers depend on social networks to learn about choosing the right vendor, and 90% of buyers won't take a cold call. And in SaaS platforms, software as a service companies, the numbers are even more telling, with the average buyer not wishing to be contacted by vendors until they're 57% through the sales funnel. So if you look at the traditional marketing funnel, in today's world, sales is becoming more part of the wider marketing funnel. Of course, this all depends a little on the type of customer you're targeting and the type of company you are, but it is clear that the traditional approach is changing. Sales is being pushed down further down the funnel, and therefore, rather than a sales-driven funnel as it used to be, it's now more and more becoming part of a marketing-driven funnel. So yeah, before we'll discuss some strategies how you can improve your alignment. But before anything else, alignment starts with people. You can do all you want, but if there's no or little communication and understanding between the marketing and sales teams, nothing's gonna work. Not only managers should have regular meetings between each other, every salesperson and every marketer in the company should understand what the others are doing, what the challenges are, and actually see them in action. And some of the things that can be implemented to improve alignment across the whole team are the following. First of all, like I said, it is important for management and managers and the company in general to start measuring sales and marketing more as a joint project than two separate ones. This will have a lot to do with defining the success metrics for every team and for the company, which Sean will explain a little bit later in the presentation. But it is key that management and managers meet regularly and have a common goal. Some other strategies that can be very useful to align the two teams is, first of all, have an onboarding marketing meeting with every salesperson and the other way around. From the get-go, whenever they start in the sales team or the marketing team, they have to understand what the others are doing from the beginning. Shadow sales calls can be very useful for marketers to get a better understanding of the client, the sales process, the pain points, values of the customers, but also of the sales team. And for the sales team, join in on marketing meetings to really get a better picture on what they are doing. Another I've done this in my own startup, which worked very well, is win-loss reviews with the full sales and marketing teams. What's a win-loss review? In a win-loss review, your salespeople basically go through the top 3 wins and the top 3 losses together with the marketing team. And they talk about the customer and about what won or lost the deal. And doing this like once a month or every few weeks, each side can learn so much about what works and what doesn't. They really get a detailed insight into your buying personas and your target audience, and of course their pain points and values. And through that, they can adapt either the marketing or the sales approach. Another very good strategy is a buddy system. In a buddy system, you basically take one salesperson and one marketer and you pair them up. And the goal, it really is to make sales and marketing better together. There's no strict guidelines. No one tells them what to do. It's just an open-ended goal to improve the customer experience and eventually the conversion. And usually this results in salespeople talking with the marketer about a specific problem that they're experiencing during the sale or on closing. And then usually the two of them will work together to come up with a solution. And it's a nice way to get both sides focused on the same goal and on one particular aspect of the funnel. I'll hand it off to you, Sean.
Okay, thanks very much, Ben. Yeah, and some very good points there. I think that definitely sales and marketing alignment. I think it's intuitive to understand that if the two teams are aligned, then there's definitely going to be a net positive impact on the business, and also, let's face it, people enjoying their jobs, right? It's a case that they're helping each other. Now, one of the things I think is important to understand, I would say get alignment on, is the buyer persona of the either the company or the individual buyer that you're targeting, because reality is we can't be all things to all people. It's good to have a well-defined, like your product or service, it solves a very specific problem for a very specific persona, right? So that's this person, or I should say what this company looks like. This is the problem that company has that we are uniquely positioned to help. So if you've defined, if it's a case that sales thinks it's one thing and marketing thinks it's another, clearly there's going to be a lot of problems, right? So if it's a case that we can define this this persona or a sort of an avatar of the ideal customer, the problems that they solve, what does their day-to-day look like? What is the impact to that person or company if that problem is left unsolved? Right? Because it's great that you solve a problem, but if that problem is just an irritation, it's a case that clearly it's going to be very difficult to get this person to this persona to engage. So if it's a case that you can agree both on the sales and marketing side is who is that person? What do they look like? Or what is that company? What do they look like? And what clearly is the problem that they have that you solve? I think it's a case that you're 95% of the way up the mountain of alignment. So if it's a case that we understand what this problem is and that marketing is really pushing, that this is the pain and we are the right solution to solve that pain. It's a case that when we actually start engaging with the prospect on the sales side, they're not telling a different story or trying to solve something different. So, and the reality is that it is an iterative process because you learn, you can speculate this is what the problem is and this is what the pain is, but let's face it, you in your company, in your marketing and sales team, you currently may not be experiencing that exact problem, right? So if it's a case that you're not as a company experiencing the problem that you solve, then really it's the voice of the customer and engaging with the customer that makes refinements on this buyer persona. So yes, it's not shifting on a day-to-day basis, but let's face it, I think it's important to recognize that this persona will evolve through time. And it's a case that another very important thing with regards to alignment is KPIs. So how are you measuring success? And I think it's important to step back and realize that doesn't matter what your role in your company is, you all have the same goal, and that goal is to increase revenue for the company, right? And it's not about if you can't connect the dots between what your role is and what your functional group in the company does with respect to impacting that revenue number, then there's some internal rules and definitions that need to be adjusted. So absolutely the most important KPI for anybody in your organization is to understand that it is about increasing revenue. So now that we realize that it's increasing revenue, this is the mountain our entire company is climbing, and we're all looking at the exact same peak. Now, of course, there's individual KPIs on functional KPIs that need to be defined. And specifically on the sales and marketing organizations, I think it's a case that it has to be, actually, I know it has to be the case that it is a collaborative approach to generating revenue, because let's face it, the salespeople are very close to the revenue, and the marketing folks are a part of the process through generating new revenue, expansion, cross-sale, upsell, etc. Now, it's a case that if we think about the role of marketing, right, and this is something also that I think you should discuss and get agreement on in your company, I argue the role of marketing is to make it easier to sell, right? It isn't about lead gen. It isn't about making a nice, fuzzy, warm feeling, emotional feeling, an emotional connection with your customers and the company. Everything you do is related to that one thing, is making it easier to sell. And if the sales folks truly believe that the marketers do understand that as the role, then let me tell you, you guys are going to be absolutely best friends, right? So it's about alignment, understanding the mountain that you're all climbing, which is generating revenue. And definitely there are some KPIs or performance indicators like SQLs, understanding the handoff between marketing to sales, and sales' involvement, ownership of the prospect during the buyer journey, etc. I think these are all important parts of the alignment story as well. Now, there's another challenge that we all face as companies, and it's really, it's really about data and information management, right? Because as a company, again, we're looking outside, we are climbing this mountain. We may not know what's over the next hill. We may have agreement on what the peak looks like and what success looks like, but outside of the company, we're trying to, again, help somebody that has a well-defined problem to solve that problem with your product or service. So it really involves a lot of data and engagement with these people who do not actually work for your company. So first, the type of data is really speculative data, and I think, or information data. So I call it metadata. It's really descriptive of, so we've made this definition of what the buyer persona is, or who the ideal company that we're targeting looks like. And then what we're gonna do is go out and do some research, trying to find companies that match that persona or contacts or what have you. But the reality is, it is speculative, because you're looking at the definition of your persona, you're looking out in the world, how do I meet more of these people? The reality is, it's going to be speculative that this definition, actually, your definition matches with that group of people or that audience. And again, you could be right, you could be wrong, who knows, right? And some of the data you're going to have is going to be out of date, right? So typically we're capturing this data. It's in spreadsheets, slide decks, reports. It's really static data that is, again, speculative, because we don't know for certain that it matches. There is a match between our perception and the reality of who these companies or people are. Then further down the journey, it's a case that we have people we're doing marketing efforts or what have you, we're engaging with these people. We've taken our information, we're heading out down the mountain to start climbing to try, applying pressure to this audience. And now we're going to actually get people engaging with us. So we will start getting behavioral data. Right, so behavioral data. Maybe they're downloading white papers. Maybe they're engaging on searches on the website, and so there's a bunch of stuff that they're doing. And you're not, again, you're an observer from afar in this story. So some of the systems that will automatically collect this stuff is clearly things like Google Analytics, your ad platforms, the social platforms, maybe your marketing automation system, as well as there's people that maybe they bought and referred. So there's a bunch of systems here that are collecting the behaviors of these people. And again, further down the journey, it's now we're truly engaged one-on-one with people. We're talking to them, and this is where it's factual data, because you are asking the prospects questions, they're answering, or they're asking you questions and you're answering. And these types of systems that are collecting this is maybe it's your lead management system or your phone software, email software, chat software, social, all of these things where people are engaging one-on-one. This is factual data. So the truth is at the bottom, inference is at the top. So definitely what we need to be doing is we need to have a loop where we're taking the direct interaction data and flowing it back to better target our speculative data, update our behaviors, and be able to, again, with the slight iterations, maybe adjust our buyer persona. Now, it's important, like I've talked about a lot of different technology in that previous slide, because there's all these things where we're, storing information, engaging with prospects. There's a lot of systems there, right? So it's a case that the two most important systems when we're talking about sales and marketing alignment is the CRM, which is the software that the salespeople are engaging on a day-to-day basis, and they're project managing the opportunities, and the marketing automation system, where the marketing team is using these tools to apply pressure to that audience of people with the intent of accelerating the buyer journeys, and again, making it easier for people to sell. So it's a case that I argue you have to have two pieces of software. Your marketing tools have to actually be well aligned to your sales tools, because it's a case you've got the people problem solved, but if your technology doesn't work together, then clearly there's going to be a challenge of getting your sales and marketing teams aligned. So it's a case that I'm just going to talk about another alignment concept that does relate to both the technology and the sales and marketing teams. If we think about the funnel, so we have this sales funnel. This sales funnel is well defined. We know our salespeople are engaged, and they're engaging with an audience of people that have a problem, have a need, and are willing to engage with the sales organization. And it is funnel shaped because there's more people at the top than there is at the bottom, because there is this actually, you don't solve the problem, your competitor does, or what have you. Superimposed on that sales funnel is the marketing funnel. And of course, again, the marketing funnel is much larger, because there's people up here that my mom is at the top of the funnel, and she probably doesn't have the problem that your company uniquely solves. So clearly it's much larger. So one of the aspects of this sales and marketing funnels is traditionally, and Ben mentioned this in one of the previous slides, we think about marketing as managing the top of the funnel and the marketing funnel, and then this prospect lead or lead opportunity boundary here is when somebody is ready for sales engagement. They cross this boundary, and we push them off to the sales team. And then once the purchase happens, then typically marketing is taking over the relationship to try to get them to, talk about the wonderful experience they had with your company, share, refer, all of this other type of stuff. Now, this definition between this boundary here between the sales and marketing funnels, it's extremely important, and there needs to be alignment in your company as to what is that boundary? What is the context that defines that this person is truly ready for sales engagement? And it's important to actually be meeting with these two teams to define what that barrier is. Now, what's interesting is that if you look at even in your organization, the needs of sales evolve in time, right? And what I mean by needs for sales, like for example, what if we get into the situation where we have too many leads? I know some of you are thinking, oh boy, we're never going to get in that situation. But let's face it, if you have a longer sales cycle and you introduce your salespeople to, say, you know, a group of really good opportunities, they're going to be focusing on closing these big deals and allocating their time accordingly, where some of the leads, maybe they're going to fall on the ground or they're not going to chase them, which is a waste of resources, right? So I argue that this barrier shifts if your sales and marketing teams are truly aligned. Because if you have too many leads, then what marketing should be doing is they should be adding friction. And with the addition of friction, they're increasing the quality of the leads. So what they're really doing is moving this lead opportunity boundary, while the sales organization, instead of them, you know, being overloaded, now you're really getting them engaged with the leads that have spent more time with marketing, right? And maybe it's the case that you are actually start hiring salespeople because of this whole scenario where, yeah, we have too many leads, let's crank up the friction, let's hire some salespeople and start onboarding them. And then if it's a case that we start onboarding them, then we're going to have some hungry people that have no accounts to chase and nothing to do. So we get back into the scenario of sales does not have enough leads. So again, what we do is and in this case, what we're doing is we're reducing the friction and handing over the leads earlier in the funnel, so that maybe it's a case that these new salespeople have people to talk to and start getting that direct engagement and collecting the data, feeding it back into the data systems. So again, the whole story here is that it is about sales and marketing alignment, and it is about shifting and communicating this barrier, for example, between the sales and marketing organizations. Now, one of the things that we want to talk about is technology, right? So definitely on the marketing side, traditionally what we've been doing is just grabbing at tools to try to solve the marketing problem. And then it's definitely something that the sales organization should be doing, is getting out of using spreadsheets or whatever it is they're using to track the leads and engaging and project managing the opportunities. They should be buying a CRM. Now, the problem with this picture here with all of these tools is that the challenge, you know, all these tools are, the tools aren't the problem. The problem is what's missing in this picture is actually the prospect, right? The prospect on the marketing funnel are spread out amongst all these different tools. So there's no real vision of the buyer journey, because it is spread out amongst all these different tools. And if we think about back to the role of marketing, which is to make it easier to sell, if we don't truly understand the buyer journey, and we have no ability to actually accelerate the buyer journey. So our analytics become very difficult. We're really just looking at last touch attribution, this type of stuff. So it ends up being, one is marketing looks like they don't have their act together, but two is that it's we can't move that threshold up and down very easily because of the lead opportunity boundary, because it's spread out amongst all these different tools. So I argue that really you need a strategy on the technology that aligns as well as your people do. And hence I'm going to talk a bit about ActiveDEMAND and noCRM together, and how they connect to make what I call a funnel acceleration platform. So now back to this diagram here. If we think about the marketing funnel, ActiveDEMAND acts as the tool set used by marketers for applying pressure to a large population of people with the intent of accelerating buyer journeys. Accelerating buyer journeys to where, again, we're going to pass this relationship off to the sales organization at this barrier here, which I talked about before. Now, one of the important parts of this diagram is philosophy of data ownership or prospect ownership, right? So in sales and marketing, it's extremely important to understand who is the quarterback at this part of the journey, so to speak. Who owns the relationship? I argue the marketers own the relationship for everybody at the top of the funnel. So really the marketing system becomes what I call the system of record or data master in this diagram for everybody that is above this line. And then once we cross this line and we pass that relationship off to the sales organization, now the CRM becomes the data master because the salespeople are now becoming the owner of the relationship, right? And if they're owning the relationship, and the reality is it's a case that all of their engagement, again, this factual data that they're getting while engaging with these prospects is being recorded in their tool, which is, of course, the CRM, noCRM. Now, what I argue, what's extremely important with your technology strategy is that anything that happens in the CRM must be immediately reflected into your marketing stack. Why? Two reasons is, again, the most accurate data in this diagram is in the CRM, right? And it's a case that we as marketers always want, back to a couple of slides ago where I was talking about the closing the information or data loop. If the most accurate data is in the CRM, then it needs to be reflected into the marketing stack. So we as marketers, we absolutely thirst for the most accurate data possible. There's another reason. Now, I argue, like, I don't know about your sales organization, but I know my sales organization, the salespeople are hyper-focused and they live, sleep, you know, they are emotionally engaged in driving revenue, right? And closing sales. But the one thing that they don't have is technical expertise, right? The salespeople, and why I say they don't have, it's not that they're not smart, it's a case that they are very focused on Pareto's principle. 80% of their revenue comes from 20% of their activities. And so the question is, what are they doing the other 80% of the time? Let me tell you, they don't want to be going out learning how to use technology. They want to be becoming more productive and, of course, increasing their efficiency with closing business. The people that are typically really good at technology are the marketers. And there's tons of opportunity for marketers at this part of the buyer journey, right? And the only way we can truly participate is if we have this reflective nature between the CRM and the marketing stack. And then if we do this, it actually changes the left side of this diagram, where it starts off at marketing, and sales and marketing are working together through this part of the process to, again, accelerate the buyer journeys and to jointly increase revenue. So this type of one is typically sales and marketing tools do not work together well unless they have people that are working together. But two, there needs to be some type of a strategy with regards to ownership, transfer of ownership, etc. And if you have a truly integrated sales and marketing platform, you will find that, again, it helps with the alignment of the people. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the tech, and we're going to give you a quick walkthrough of a real example of how marketing and sales teams are working together with the technology. So ActiveDEMAND, it's a full stack marketing platform that starts with the buyer journey. With our tracking system, we're literally able to track everything the prospects do from first touch on the website all the way through to purchase, cross-sell, upsell, cross-sell, etc. And with this tracking, we are tracking, again, we understand as marketers the full buyer journey. We have a set of tools that we use to accelerate the buyer journey. So we do have a full social engagement stack, a full email marketing stack. We have landing pages, appointment scheduling, surveys. Reporting is extremely important for marketers to communicate the impact they're having with their marketing activities and to optimize their marketing activities. So we have a fantastic data engagement platform, which is dashboards, reports, etc. And we are a full automation system. So we have sequencing of tasks, sequencing of buyer journeys, etc. And we have a full call tracking platform for those companies that are, if you spend a bunch of money trying to get somebody to engage and they decide to call you, if you can't make a connection between your marketing effort, marketing spend, and that strong buyer signal, there's clearly a gap in attribution. So we as well have a call tracking platform. And we have a very deep integration with noCRM, which we'll be showing you here in just a couple of minutes. Ben?
Yes. So yes, about noCRM, I briefly introduced it before, but we really we focus on a few things, but we are mainly an easy to use lead management system focused mostly on small businesses and small sales teams. Our main goals are really to get a consistent and efficient sales process and bringing your salespeople together in one place. The most common problem with CRMs is to get people to use it. A lot of salespeople don't like it, especially in the beginning, because it feels like more work. And sometimes companies start off with a very complicated system, which makes it very difficult to do it. Many CRM systems have a very heavy data input process, which makes it frustrating for salespeople, and especially for SMBs or smaller companies who don't necessarily have the need for extensive data input. That's why in noCRM we focus on keeping it simple and having the focus on what to do next. Every salespeople knows what to do next, when, and everything is together in one place. Every salesperson is on the same platform, and yeah, so we have features like lead uploads from Excel pipelines, lead status, team management, data tracking, and there's also dozens of integrations like the one with ActiveDEMAND, which is a key integration for your salespeople to get better insights into marketing. But our other integration also can adapt the CRM system to exactly what your company needs. And as your company scales, you can also make it as complex and complete as you need it to be through these integration. So yeah, that's a little bit about noCRM. Eric will show you shortly how our interface looks and how to set up the integration with ActiveDEMAND. If you're interested in trying noCRM, for attending this webinar, you can try it for free for 30 days. We'll probably share that link in an email after the webinar.
I'm just going to walk through a marketing engagement where we're talking about sales and marketing aligning and how it goes from the marketing story through to the sales engagement and with the sales team and them optimizing the process, etc. So this webinar that we're all on right now was actually promoted using the ActiveDEMAND platform, which you're seeing here. So clearly in this initiative, it's a case that our two organizations, we identified that sales and marketing alignment is extremely important. Our sales team absolutely drinks from that fountain, as well as the noCRM sales team as well. So it was a nice story that solves that we as companies, we're constantly focused on this, and we identified that clearly other people are focused on this or should be focused on this as well. So really what we have is the webinar registration page, which all of you folks have seen. And that's an ActiveDEMAND landing page, and we promoted it. We used emails, we did social posts, we did, and of course the folks at noCRM, they posted links inside their app as well as within their email systems, and we took these emails and we drove people towards this landing page. And then this landing page, it's a case where we want the people to do, of course, is register. Once they've registered, then there's a, as you all see, there was a confirmation page. Then on the confirmation page, we know, because our system tracks everybody, we know whether or not you have an account with us. So on the confirmation page, we're as well promoting that, hey, maybe you should consider signing up for a trial. So we have these trial pages that we're pushing folks to. And then once the case that you've registered for the webinar, so we have the promotion that we're doing, which is essentially this, we're doing calendar, social posts, etc., which I talked about. Then what we're doing is once the people have registered, then what we want people to do is, of course, attend. So really what we have is a workflow that is, this is an example of marketing automation where somebody registers for the webinar, then there's a sequence that goes on to remind people about the webinar that they signed up for so that they will attend. Right? So it's a case that there's a workflow here, there's a 1 hour reminder depending on where you've signed up, and or what time you signed up, which time slot you signed up for, and then it's a case that our SIS software is of course tracking whether or not you attended or not. And if you've attended, then what we're going to do is wait for a day, and then we're going to try to get you to, as you will see, fill out a survey. Right? And then if it's a case that you didn't attend, and whether you attended or not, the software is going to send you a link to the recording. Right? So this is what a sequence looks like with marketing automation. So we do this once with the webinar, and then when we do this webinar promotion, we basically take this recipe, clone it, fill out the table of values, which is the speakers, the pictures of the people, and then literally this entire promotion. It took us about 10 or 15 minutes to set up all landing pages, all content, etc. Because really, when you think about automation, it isn't the automation of people of actions. It's really reducing labor to do promotions. So we create the recipe, deploy the recipe. And you can see here, you can see exactly how many people flowed through each step of the journey, how many people are sitting in a wait state, and exactly who those people are, right? So now, if it's a case that somebody has signed up for the webinar, what we need to do is engage with sales. So we have a workflow, and the workflow is triggered whenever prospects do something like, for example, attend a webinar or sign up for a webinar. And this workflow controls the lead opportunity boundary. So the entire lead opportunity boundary and the friction level is actually controlled here, right? And then once it's a case that somebody does something, we will dynamically assign the lead to the right salesperson, notify them, and then create or transfer the contact off to the CRM and assign the contact owner or the sales rep an activity or schedule an activity for them to do in the CRM. So again, all of this is automated. Now, when people go into noCRM, what they see is a very simple interface for managing the leads and opportunities that they're engaged with. And Ben mentioned this, is that the challenge with deploying a CRM in any business is really getting salespeople to use it. And if the CRM software is overly complex, really it'll get in the way of the salesperson and delay the adoption of the CRM. So the really nice thing about noCRM is that it's simple, easy to use, and really it's an extension of the salesperson's day-to-day engagement. So it's so you see here, these are different leads I'm engaged with. It's a drag and drop interface for moving people through the buyer journey. And as part of our integration with noCRM, ActiveDEMAND is injecting these little bubbles onto each of these cards. And what that is called is our prospect insights. So right now, ActiveDEMAND knows everybody that's on the website, and they know right now that Allison's on the website, so it actually turns Allison's bubble green. So when I'm looking here, I can say, wow, Allison's on the website right now, click it, see everything that she's done on the website. I can call her because we have a call interface. It'll auto log the call in the CRM. So it's a case that, again, it's about getting the data that marketers have and injecting it into so that the salespeople, it's accessible to them to make the right decision about who to engage with. Now, in noCRM, it's a case that one is it's very easy to see, you know, with these blue and red tags. It's a case some of these are well out of date, other ones I have scheduled, et cetera. So it helps me manage my day-to-day activities. And any of the activities that I'm doing in here are logged automatically on the contact record. So it makes it very easy for me. If I have lots of opportunities, I can see what was it that I talked about last with that individual. Now, it's a case that if I'm using ActiveDEMAND's call system, it will literally post the recording to the call directly onto the timeline. And it's a case that we also have what we call count insights. So with Allison, she works for Acme Inc. I can see all the other people that work for Acme Inc. And it's a case that be able to see, you know, if I'm going to call Allison, maybe I need to go talk about what Bob has done on the website, et cetera. So it gives me something to talk about when I'm engaging with this prospect. And noCRM as well has a nice lead interface where we, a team can, you know, manage as an entire sales team, lead engagement, lead assignment, uploads of leads, etc. Now with automation, anything that happens, like I mentioned, in this CRM, in noCRM is immediately reflected back into the marketing stack. So we can actually trigger automations automatically for the sales folks based on context. For example, maybe it's a case there's a deal stage change or what have you that happened in noCRM, and maybe I tried to call them or something like that, and I couldn't get a hold of them. So it's a case I can say something like this: hey, tried to call you, you were busy, busy's good. Please pick a time on my appointment scheduler, which is part of ActiveDEMAND. Pick a time that's right for you. Now, if they book a meeting, they're kicked out of the sequence, or if the sales rep changes an attribute on the lead, it can kick them out of the sequence. But if they do nothing, we can keep gently persuading them to try to book that meeting. And if they do not book the meeting, we can automate a task in the CRM for the salesperson to give it one last go. So long story short, as you see here, that it's a case that with the sales and marketing systems being aligned, it makes it a lot easier for, one is if the tech's aligned, it makes it very easy, much easier for the people to become aligned. And also it's a case that, again, as marketers, we're typically experts at the tech stack. We can find opportunities to help the sales folks while the prospect is owned by the salesperson during this phase of the buyer journey that is directly in the sales funnel. So really, again, what we're really talking about here is sales and marketing alignment. And with alignment, we're going to get business success. And definitely there's some challenges that we face independently as sales and marketing organizations. But it's a case that, again, we have to step back and realize what the goal is, and it's really accelerating buyer journeys and, more importantly, driving revenue for your business. So I argue, and we've argued in this presentation, is that you need to have a people strategy, a data management strategy, technology strategy, and definitely come up with a set of tools that work seamlessly together for both the sales and marketing organizations. So definitely with noCRM and ActiveDEMAND, tightly integrated systems that work seamlessly together and solve many of the sales and marketing alignment problems. So I'm going to pass things back off to Eric.
And a couple of housekeeping things. First, we will make the presentation available to everyone. As Sean showed you in the workflow, we will be sending you an email, a link via that email when that's available. So look for that email coming in the next day or two. And after the webinar, you will see a pop-up email survey. Please take the 30 seconds or so to complete that and tell us how we did. We and our partners regularly offer these webinars, and your feedback helps us continually improve. If anyone has any last questions that they'd like to put into the interface there, we will follow up after the presentation as well with any questions that do come in.
Thanks all for joining. And yeah, if you want to learn more, please try noCRM. You can have a free call too, where we give you some more information and help you set up your account.
And also we have on the ActiveDEMAND side, if you're interested to learn more about marketing automation, we do have a free marketing automation academy. It's at learn.activedemand.com, and that's free to anybody, whether you have our software or not. So definitely, if you're interested in learning more about sales and marketing engagement, that is a fantastic resource for you. Eric?
Okay, thank you. So just to remind you of that survey, that pop-up survey as you sign off, please take a few minutes and let us know how we did, and look for those follow-up emails coming with the link in the recorded presentation. On behalf of everyone here at ActiveDEMAND and noCRM.io, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found the presentation worthwhile, and we do hope to see you again in the future. This concludes the presentation for today. Thank you.